Okay, could I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Resolution 09-1079, approving 3 grant programs. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President and board members. This is something you get each year. What happens is there are a number of funds that are distributed to the tri-county area in surface transportation funds, in other categories, totaling this time for these 3 programs $13.7 million. Because we are the entity designated as the recipient of those funds, what we do is we coordinate with other providers of transit throughout the whole of the 3-county area, not just the urbanized area, but the whole of the 3-county area. We create an advisory committee that you see listed on the 3rd page of the staff report. And they work through how to be able to allocate those dollars based on the various needs for transit throughout the whole of the 3-county area. And I think it's relatively remarkable that every time this gets done, and Claire Potter from our staff really oversees this effort as well as others, they come to a unanimous recommendation about how to be able to allocate that. That is what this resolution does. It both allows for the acceptance of these funds and for the actual allocation of those funds and the resolutions allowing for that to occur. With that, we would urge your approval.
I have a motion.
Move adoption.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Resolution's approved. Resolution 09-1080, authorizing a contract for transit security officers. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. As we talked about during the Eastside status report, one of the main issues certainly we've been addressing over the last several years has been safety and security on the transit system. One component of that has been to be able to have the eyes and ears of a private security firm, in this case Wackenhut Services. They play an important role. They do not actually enforce our rules, but they are there. They are able to step in. They're able to radio for help and so on. This contract provides for a flatlining of where they have been. This is no increase in this level of involvement. Where we've made our investments have been in increasing the size of our police force, increasing the size of our field operation, being devoted to actually delivering fair inspection and other support services. We felt that was very appropriate. We felt that it was not important to increase the size of Wackenhut, but we did think it very important to be able to keep them there as a component of that. This contract, as you can see, was competitively bid. There were 3 bidders, and although there was one that was a little bit lower in price, you can tell by the overall score that they scored substantially lower than what we recommend as a winning bid. With that, we would urge your approval of this resolution.
Motion. Second. Discussion.
Yeah, quick question for you. In the report, it shows the proposed price by Wackenhut to be $5.358, and then down below it says the estimated total 5-year contract is $5.975. Why the difference?
We went through this during the time of staff review. I mean, where's Steve? Shelley, why don't you speak to that?
The primary reason is we wanted to make sure that we built in enough of a buffer for special events, overtime, Rose Festival, anything that might be unforeseen during the life of the contract, so we wouldn't have to come back and bother you for increases.
But the reason why we wanted to bid it the way we did is we really want the unit price so we have absolutely apples to apples comparisons across the bidders.
Okay, I did, Bob?
Yeah. My question is on the technical score. How did they end up scoring so high versus the other 2?
Shelley, also.
We looked at the firm's ability to be able to provide what it was we needed, and one of the things that was very important to us was that they had an extensive background or knowledge around working with mass transit. Did they have experience working in a transit environment rather than just fixed post? That was a portion of it. We also looked at the firm's size, how long they've been in business. We looked at how they trained their officers. We considered their references. It was a very, very comprehensive review. And all that, including the pricing, is what brought them to their total final scores.
One of the things I'd say, just looking at this, being the transit property in Oregon, in the Tri-County area, if you don't work for us, you don't work for transit. So, if these are these local companies or companies outside of the area?
There were a total of eight people who put in bids. Several of them were in this side of the nation. They were not local companies that applied or that proposed. We had 5 bidders that made it through the first round of reviews. We sent out requests for best and final offer along with questions the committee had that would have helped to maybe change our scoring. Of the 5 people that we asked for additional information in best and final, 3 provided response to that, so 3 were responsive. Those are the 3 that I believe you see in your packet. Of the 3, 1 said that they would only accept the contract if we modified how we had actually put it out for bid. They weren't interested in our indemnification, so that we weren't too happy about that. So that really left us with 2.5 from my bidders from my perspective. And of those, Wackenhut was clearly the most technically capable and the most well-rounded in security to meet our needs.
Where were the other 2 located? Do you remember?
One of them, Securitas, I know they work out of Seattle. I don't know where their home base is. And the other one is located further back east.
The point is that they would have ability to be able to have transit experience without us being the transit provider. That's right.
And to that point, we actually made certain that when we asked for transit experience, we didn't limit it to light rail or buses. We said basically anything. If you've worked in a subway, if you've worked on a ferry, if you've worked on a trolley, if you worked at the airport, any kind of experience with people as opposed to just fixed objects, because our challenges are quite unique. We're a little bit different than just securing a bank.
And my final question would be, I know Wackenhut has been ours for a few years now, and how do you feel about them?
I personally am very satisfied with the service that I have received from Wackenhut. I'm satisfied with the responsiveness. I've appreciated when we were in our big ramp-up, how quickly they were able to meet the needs of the agency by bringing in people from off contract. Routinely, no matter how challenging the problem is that I provide to them, the response I get is no problem, even though I hear the big sigh sometimes because I know what I'm asking for may be a little bit challenging for them. I am a satisfied contract manager.
Yeah, just along the lines too, and Shelley, I thank you. I've encouraged you more use of uniformed police officers in all areas. But I want to say, sitting down with you and listening to what this augments in the system, I've learned a little more about it. I know I've been critical of Wackenhut in the past, but I'm in favor of what you're doing here. And I thank you again for explaining that all to me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wait, did you have? No, I've been. Okay, let me recast this. Okay, we have a second now. So, motion second. No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Resolution is approved.